Welcome back to 20 Years of Doom. I'm Temin.
I'm fine.
Today, we're doing Heretic.
Yep. Shadow of the Serpent Riders.
Well, sort of. That's technically the expansion pack that came out a year later, but it's the only version of Heretic I actually have. Also, check out this cool demo loop. Just look at him go. He's so good at this game. Oh, man, I wish I was this good. That demo actually comes with the game, if you can believe it or not.
That's the first one. Does it randomly select one? Does it always play this first one where you just get to watch monster fighting?
This is the first demo.
Okay, well, off to the City of the Damned.
So you are an elf man, unnamed at this point. He gets a name later, but that's a different story. John Heretic, the Heretic. He does magic tricks. He fights, well, these guys.
He fights imps.
Yeah. So, first enemy we got.
Nice splash.
Yeah. This is still fun to do. A gargoyle. The alternate name is what they call them in the actual game files. So, all the sprites are called imp.
Right.
So, these guys aren't a big deal. Oh, and there's a reason they have a health range rather than a solid health, but we'll get to that later.
We will indeed. So,
this is basically what John Romero was doing while John Carmack was working on the Quake engine. They licensed out the Doom engine to Raven Software, and John, he was the producer of this game, I guess. I don't know how much involvement he had in this project, or... Oh, check it out, they made enhancements to the Doom engine. You can look up and down now.
Right, okay, I was wondering if that was what you're doing. I also know a couple of other enhancements, but we'll get to those.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, basically, all the future games Raven does, add certain key enhancements to the Doom engine that actually make it into source ports, which is nice. Also, you now splash when you hit the water. Finally.
I really like this first map, actually. Heretic. I get Hex and Heretic mixed up, so I apologise to any future viewers of this if I say Hexant, I meant Heretic. I really like the shareware of this. It's a really nice shareware episode, or at least I thought so when I was a kid. Replaying it recently.
Right.
Let you do it, enemy bio.
Yep.
Don't want to take away from this.
So, golems. They're called mummy in the game files. That's fun. So they're not very...
They were just mummies.
Might as well be. So they're not hard to deal with, but their health kind of makes them annoying to kill. Like, they have slightly too much, I feel like, and killing them with standard weapons kind of takes too long, just in my opinion.
They fill the niche of, like, being the bullet sponge while something else gets behind you and does the actual damage.
Yeah, these guys are not very strong, but... I like how they explode and then a ghost comes out of them when you kill them, though.
Yes, it's neat. The big locked door that nearly always has a key to it, which is a nice part of this game. This door needs a key push, so this door needs a button push somewhere doors are nice.
Yeah, I don't think I actually realized that when I was playing this. Do all Switch-related doors have that texture?
I think so. Like I said, I've been replaying it through, so I've not been exactly following that, but it seems to have been.
Nice.
Also, new weapon.
Yes, lightning gloves. These are great, especially, with a certain power-up we haven't gotten yet. Did I mention this game has inventory? That's another thing they added. You can store items and use them for later. Basically, most of them are the Doom power-ups, but you can use them whenever you want to.
It's really nice that you can bank those for emergencies, tough fights, or just genuinely being a hoarder. Yep. Obviously, it has a slight problem with that.
Oh, yeah.
Can't use the item yet, worried about it.
Yeah, so...
But lightning gloves really help here.
Yeah, again, the problem with using them on the golems is they don't have quite high enough of a pain chance to reliably be able to kill them with them without getting hit, which is annoying. Here's our first new item, the Tome of Power. I'm going to save it for at least a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
So, what it does, well, I guess I'll explain it when I get there. Well, am I using it now? Seriously? Good God. I played this
Let's
a while
talk about
ago.
it now. Let's talk about this now. The Tome of Power does...
Here we go.
Hey.
The bad news is that I don't run into any enemies. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, there's one.
Well, that one but obviously, as you can see, yeah. Oh, well, nice. You got a few token enemies to show it off on, and a new weapon as well for your trouble.
Yeah, the ethereal crossbow. Alright, so the Tome of Power basically enhances every weapon you have. It gives it a stronger new method of firing. For the wand, it shoots like a wave of 5 hit scans outwards and then shoots 3-ish projectiles. For the crossbow, it makes you shoot more numerous and more strong bolts, I guess.
And doesn't consume any extra ammo, which is nice.
Yeah, and for the gauntlets, it increases the range on them and actually drains life and, gives it to you from the enemy, which is awesome.
Really, really handy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
The Tome of Power definitely becomes a staple of the whole series, except Hexen, if I remember correctly. I don't think Hexen originally had it.
No.
But obviously...
Oh.
It's gonna stop. These guys.
I don't mind these guys too much. It's just... I don't know. I don't know, man.
These are the guys where... These almost fill a Hell Knight niche, which is good.
Yeah, kind of. So, they have 2 different types of attack. They're kind of like the Revenant in that they have 2 different projectiles they can shoot. One of them, well, they throw green axes, which is their normal attack, and then sometimes they'll throw a red axe. I'm not sure what determines that, but that one's way stronger and does a lot of damage.
I forgot you had a staff as well in this game. Just hit them with the other end of the wand.
Oh, is that what that's supposed to be?
No, I'm making no. Oh, to imagine so now.
Also, they brought back the intermission map screen from Doom, which is nice.
I love that intermission map screen.
Also, I had technical difficulties and I died on this map somehow. Oops.
But yeah, this is what the knights are good for in this. The attack is powerful enough to force you to move, which means if there's enough other chaos going on, something's going to get hit on you.
Yep. The way ammo works in this game is a bit different from Doom. Each weapon has its own individual ammo type rather than multiple guns sharing the same type of ammo, so that actually gives you a reason to use the crystal wand some of the times, just because you have ammo on it and you don't need to waste your good ammo. But I'm kind of out of ammo altogether now, jeez.
Yeah, that's one of definitely the flip sides of this game. I remember it being quite stingy with its ammo. I feel they're basically trying to push you into using the gauntlets on imps.
Well, the problem with that on the pistol start thing is I don't have the gauntlets.
Yeah.
Pistol start, wand start, whatever.
Pistol start.
Yeah.
Just a wizard's pistol.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Starting from scratch in this, you definitely... It also doesn't help that, like, the mainstay of the enemies in this game are very, very hit point spongy. Very tanky.
Yeah,
but as you were mentioning there was that extra attack, the bloody axe.
Yeah, I'm not having a good time with this guy, man. gotta go back and search for clues, I guess.
Gotta go get those crystal vials.
Yeah.
Heal yourself back up.
Jeez.
Drink that crystal.
Oh, God. Oh, no. So it's just like... Oh, God. It's just liquid crystals in there.
Just crushed up crystals in a water solution.
We all know crystals aren't water soluble. What are you doing, Elfman? John Elf?
John Elf.
Yeah. That's his name right now, I've decided.
John Elf Heretic Elfman.
Yeah, John Heretic Elf. Alright, so I gotta use the Tome of...
I didn't know that!
Yeah, I have to do this. This is my only option of recourse here. I've got 1 health and the staff.
Thread, I would like to point out we recognise this time that he's got 1 health.
I found a little bit of health. We're good. Oh man.
I did not know the tone worked on his staff. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just electric
Looks like
staff.
it's into an AoE. That's cool.
I'm actually not sure. I almost never have to use that, and I don't think I ever use that ever again in the entire game. Finally, a real weapon. Thank God.
You got 10 more hit points than you need. You're fine. Never mind the fact that these games have slight variation on their attack strength, so...
Yeah, good old Doom RNG. So, yeah, the weapons are also interesting in that for most of the part they're kind of counterparts to the original Doom weapons. The wand is like the pistol, the crossbow is kind of like the shotgun, but all the hit scans are changed into projectiles, and the thing with the crossbow is the damage varies wildly. Sometimes you can kill an imp in 1 shot, and sometimes it'll take like 3. And I think it has to do with it fires multiple types of projectiles. It fires like a big one in the center, and then several smaller ones off to the sides, and they all vary wildly in how much damage they do. So it's a bit of a crapshoot for, I guess
reliable.
Yeah, a dependable amount of damage. But
like that imp took an entire crossbow round there and didn't flinch. Well, it flinched, but it didn't die. This is also the reason why I really like the inventory system of this game. You've got a torch. Torch is the bright the screen equivalent, if I remember correctly.
It's the Fulbright, the light goggles.
You don't need to use it now.
Nope. And
also, that's another
medkits.
useful thing.
Yes. Incredibly useful. So, that's a crusher. I learned that the hard way.
I wonder how you died.
Oh man. So
chain gun equivalent, if I remember correctly.
Slightly slower than the chain gun, but it doesn't share ammo with the wand, so. I think it's slightly stronger than the wand too. I don't have the exact numbers. I don't know this game as well as I do Doom, which you'll probably see me get lost in quite a few of these maps, just because I'm not as familiar with them. But that's just kind of the result of how I'm doing this. I haven't practiced any of these games.
The flip side of it is Heretic is at least generous, very generous in giving you maps. It's one of the things I noticed on my replay of the game using a certain secret mod, that the game is constantly throwing maps at you.
Really? I hadn't been paying too close attention to that.
Not
also, these
so much in this.
What are these things?
The exploding barrel standard.
Yeah, but. Yeah, they're the exploding barrel of this game, but what are they supposed to be?
They're like noxious pods. It's great, especially with. Well, I'm not sure if will we see the end of this episode? In this episode?
Not in this episode. We're
right.
Really...
Well, I'll let the other quirk that they can have come to it when it happens.
Yeah.
Time bomb of the ancients. I love this thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just a remote detonated explosive thing. Well, time detonated, really, but
it's literally a time bomb.
Yeah, it's
hourglass time bomb. Oh, there you go. There's
explosive hourglass. Yep. But yeah, I don't find it terribly useful, except for like you've got like a horde of guys coming at you and you don't have much ammo. But finally I got my gauntlets back. Thank goodness. Yeah, but you probably won't see me use the time bomb of the ancients too much.
If I'm remembering how I used to play the game, I think you could use multiple, so it would just be, room full of dudes and I've got a whole bunch of time. Whoa!
So, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's alright, don't worry about it. Room full of dudes, you've got a time bomb ready, a bunch of time bombs ready, you just use them all in one go and just step back.
Right.
But I might be misremembering that. I may have played it on a port of some description that let you do that.
So, I just picked up the Shadow Sphere. It's kind of like the Invisibility Sphere from Doom, I think it alters the firing patterns of the enemies, but also gives you ghost properties, which is a new thing in Heretic that we'll get to a little bit later. Yeah, that's about all it does, I think. I never use it because I don't like the invisibility sphere.
No, I also don't remember those ghost properties are, so I guess I never used it either.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the actual ghost properties apply to you, though, but I guess we'll find out at some point.
Oh, that, right. Probably doesn't apply to you, yeah.
Nice try, Tricky. Tricky.
Your Doom skills are paying off handsomely. No such thing as a free lunch or a free quartz flask.
Bummer.
But, with the passage of time, I come to realise how the maps are alright, the gameplay is alright. Raven's, I don't know if this is Raven's first game, but
no.
It was fun. I enjoyed this game. Would I recommend it to somebody? I think I'd recommend to watch a Let's Play of it.
Sure. Like this one, hey! But anyway, gosh, I forgot what I was going to say now.
We were talking about the tangibility of the shield and map design?
Well, that's, I guess. So, yeah, basically this game's fantasy Doom. It's pretty much exactly Doom, but a few things shifted around and, all new maps and weapons.
It's great. It was great for the time of you liked Doom, you like fantasy, it's fantasy Doom.
Yep.
Also, one thing I like is the stand-in for Doom Guy's face on the bottom is the chain.
Oh, yeah, it's a nice health indicator. Yeah, I actually never pay that too much mind, but it is pretty neat.
With the full fleshed face on the right and the skeleton face on the left.
Face, yep.
It's a nice little atmospheric. It's not as good as the Doom Guy face because it's not as quick.
Yeah.
Because the Doom Guy face, you look at Doom Guy face, you see he's beat up, you know you're in trouble. This, by the time you see notice the chain, you look alive. Cool.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's still aesthetically cool.
Yeah. Raven's funky gothic fantasy design. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, and would persist through this game. Hexen, Heretic 2, Hexen 2.
I had some of that.
Not so sure what else they've done.
Shadowcaster.
Oh yes, Shadowcaster, of course. I never actually played Shadowcaster.
Well, I played it for a little bit and I got stuck.
The keys are funky as well, which is a nice touch. Yeah. All different designs.
They replaced the red key with the green key. What are they doing? That's the real difference between this and Doom. They got a green key. Oh jeez. Just took
Blood
that
dagger out of the dark. Blood axe out of the dark.
So I had a bit of trouble managing the inventory on this game just because of the way I'm playing it on DOSBox. Because the way you use inventory items is with the Enter key on the original controls.
Yeah.
And I use Alt to strafe, so sometimes I'll accidentally Alt-Enter DOSBox, and just know that if there are any strange sudden jump cuts, I probably Alt-Entered the game and had to, edit that out in post.
Yeah. The control schemes for changing inventory stuff still baffles me to this day as well. But they had a different keyboard layout back then.
Yeah, you have to use.
I don't know if it was.
You have to use.
Are you using? Go on, you go.
You have to use the square brackets to change items in the inventory, and it's kind of out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's conveniently useful to the return key. One other thing worth pointing out with this game, enemy counts are quite high by comparison.
Yeah, they are, actually.
There was 153 enemies in that map.
Yeah, jeez. That's way more than, any standard, Doom 1 level.
Yeah.
Not
also,
quite.
with the actual improvements to the engine, meaning that you can look up and down more reliably, they actually do make use of it with the imps being able to fly at you, like this level is showing, which is nice.
It still does have vertical auto-aim, but sometimes you can't depend on that, so being able to look up and down really helps.
It's an excellent example of taking somebody else's engine, improving it a little bit, adding your own touch to it, and then going and doing your own thing with it. Raven, that was basically Raven, wasn't it? In a nutshell.
Yeah, they did that with the Wolf 3D engine, then this engine, Doom engine.
Yeah. Man, that's confusing to think of. It's a frequency of like not having strange engine names, just calling them after the game.
Yeah.
I suppose it kept it simple, but
I guess so.
at the same time, you expect it to be called something a little bit more oddball.
Like, I'm just trying to think of a strange name for what you... Like, if they used engine names from today...
Like, for example, Dark Forces was the Lucas engine, Dark Forces 2 was the Sith... No, the Jedi engine? There was a Jedi engine and a Sith engine.
Right.
Also, thank you. I was going to say, I imagine there was a point where we were going to start going faster.
Yeah, it's getting a bit annoying fighting things with the wand, but I just have so much ammo for it.
Yeah. I wouldn't call it a downside, but definitely the problem with having too many hit point sponge enemies. Wand works fine against imps.
Yeah.
Wand is not so great against everything else because of how spongy they are.
Good grief.
One other thing about this game which I appreciate, and still do appreciate, is just how nice the levels are. There's a nice amount of like variation of wall textures.
Honestly, for me, they all kind of blend together, but
They do. They absolutely do. But what is presented at least is like more than just everything is a grey brick wall. The actual walls here are trimmed with these extras. The torch placement is nice in that regard. Lots of sector lighting, although some of it confusing. Some of it used to good effect though. They do telegraph a lot of secrets by basically being this one sector is darker. Why is it darker?
Just because, I don't know.
Well, it's a secret around.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Another improvement to the Doom engine that Raven did. You can actually go above and below solid actors. They're not infinitely tall anymore.
Right.
Which is interesting because there's actually an item that lets you fly around, which is neat. I think I picked it up in the last level, but I never used it. And the weird thing with the inventory in this game is that once you beat a level, most of your inventory is cleared out.
This side, by the way, I like. It's a little bit weird, but you saw it there. I'm not sure if you're going to be going into that room because I think it's a secret room. The water is actually pushing against projectiles. It's a little strange, but it looks cool.
It's got a little.
It also makes fighting difficult.
Yeah. I don't remember if I got in there or not. Like I said, it's been a while since I actually played this.
As you were saying, the inventory gets cleared between levels. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Wings of Wrath that get removed, or whatever those are called.
Yeah, the Wings of Wrath get removed.
Consistently gets removed.
Yeah, and pretty much every other item gets reset to, you just have one of them at the beginning of the next level. So kind of annoying, and I didn't realize it until way later into the game that it was doing that. And I was really confused why all my stuff was gone.
The annoying part of that, more so the annoying part of that one obviously would be is if you finish the level with low health, start next level, all of your consumables you picked up are now down to 1.
Yeah, so pro tip, if you're at the end of the level with low health, use all your quartz flasks.
Yeah. Just use, and I mean the thing is, it does pay off to what we were talking about earlier. You pick these items up, you think to yourself, do I need to use this now or should I save it for something big and scary later? They usually put the items in an area to be used immediately, or a secret area for the purposes of carrying it over to somewhere else.
Right, yeah, because,
being aggressive with the Tomes of Power pays off in this game.
Exactly what I was going to bring up, because, like, if you don't use the Tomes of Power, you know, if there are multiple per level, you're just wasting them by saving them.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a chance to use them ever. Which I guess is kind of neat in a way, because it actually, you know, forces you to actually use the inventory.
The only problem with the first chapter of this game, I feel, is that it suffers from the... I'm not going to say it was a problem in Doom, but it suffers from this problem... This game makes it an exaggeration, because obviously this was a shareware game.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the shareware chapter. So the shareware... Oh, if I'm going to shut up if you switch this tool that you just picked up, because it's hilarious.
I don't... No, sorry. Not this time.
Because it's a shareware weapon, we don't have a shareware episode, we don't have all the weapons.
Right.
We don't have all the access to all the weapons. There we go.
Yes! Morpho of them. Turns them into chickens.
And if you are playing this game multiplayer and somebody uses it against you, you do get turned into a chicken and you have a tiny little beak and you can peck your enemies to death.
It's wonderful.
It is beautiful.
Oh, I think, actually, I don't remember if this is true or not, but I think if you use the Tome of Power when you're a chicken, you actually get like a super peck. Like you become a giant chicken or something.
I have no idea about that one.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was this or Heretic that lets you... Well, it couldn't have been Hexen. That's what I meant.
Could have been Hexen, but...
I'm pretty
Hexen 2, I think, had the Tome of Power again.
Yeah, the Tome of Power either turns you back into a human or elf or whatever, or it makes you a super chicken. I can't remember.
I'm sure somebody will tell us in the thread.
But yeah, that's fun. It's a neat little thing they did.
It's a great... Like I said, there's a lot of character in this game, even though it's got its warts. My main bugbear with the first episode being the fact that it's the first episode is limiting it way too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a problem with Doom also, just because you only had, you didn't have access to the plasma rifle and BFG, and there were no cacodemons.
That's the thing, I don't remember that being a problem that much in Doom, but maybe I'm just... Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
this
you're
guy's
fighting,
a ghost.
right. Yeah.
So, ghosts, it's what the Shadow Sphere does to you, but they have special properties in that they can only be harmed by quote-unquote magic attacks, which means basically you can't attack them with the staff, as far as I know, and a weapon we can't get in this episode. I'm sure there are others, but I can't think of which ones they are. But basically, some shots will fly through the ghosts, and basically you can only hit them with magical hit scans reliably.
Yeah. And that's something that they make use of. I can't remember all the types of monsters that can be ghosts, but... do we fight a certain robed figure in the episodes? In the shareware episodes? I forget.
Yep. Very end of this
level.
So
they'll also be a thing when they pop up that also play greatly into that power.
So...
No, Raven did a much better thing with, like, invisibility in this game than Doom did. Spectres are not a thing.
Yeah.
Are they?
You remember how I mentioned some of the enemies had a health range rather than a solid health? It's because some of them have alternate forms. The imps have an alternate where they have 80% health and they can shoot fireballs.
Yep.
And the golems...
I think they get a charging attack as well.
Yeah, they can charge at you too. And the golems actually, there was one, up on that ledge up there, with the key, that could shoot fireballs, and it has slightly more health than the regular kind. And also the fireballs have little faces and they home in on you a little bit. It's adorable.
Yes, and screech.
Yep.
I was going to say that, yeah, they home as well, and it's great. We were mentioning this before we started recording. I love how it makes the enemies feel like you occasionally fight champion versions of themselves. Like they have also sometimes come in stronger versions.
Right.
It does capture that RP. It does capture that sort of soft feel that you're in a more of a role-playing game. Obviously, there's nothing else to it. There's no visual quotes to it. And there's nothing clever really about it. But it does feel like it's an integral part of, fantasy setting, fantasy things, and fantasy settings level up. This is leveled up imp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice. If only, for the variation of it all. A little bit of...
More so anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, weirdly enough, I appreciate the fact that upgraded versions are not retextures.
Yeah.
A lot of games do that, there's no problem with that, but because these aren't retextures, every time you fight them, you think there's a small part of your brain that thinks, is that one going to shoot me? Or is he just going to try and run up and punch me? Can I use the staff? Can I use the wand? Or should I use something stronger to kill him?
Right, yeah. Yep, like I said, good variety, and it keeps you on your toes a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, it took me forever to find this switch, which will let me get that key finally.
Yeah.
First, I gotta.
I like this map. I like this map because it feels like a lot of the level design in these levels feel a little bit more coherent than Doom's level design of it. I love me some Doom level design. The abstractness of Doom level design is great, but hangar is not really a hangar. This place, however, feels like a guard, like a fortress. Oh.
Oops. Yeah.
Just a little crushing. You're fine.
Yeah, part of the problem with the level design, I feel, at least in this episode, is that I tend to get lost. Like, it turns into a switch hunt at times, but I feel like that's only a case in this episode, unless I'm misremembering. But, you know.
No, some of the other levels do definitely have confusing level design. But I like the coherentness of the level design in this. You know, this is basically almost assaulting a castle sort of thing, so they keep to the same sort of theme.
Right, yeah.
Now you're assaulting the keep inside the castle.
Yep. Going up some wooden stairs, man.
Obviously, you know, everything goes off rails because it's these classic FPSs, but still, it's something I appreciate.
Yep. Also, I think I kind of like the soundtrack in ways a little bit more than Doom, just because I guess whoever wrote the music, I don't know, put a little bit more variety than just 12 bars blues into the soundtrack. And it's also an interesting mix of like medieval, like orchestral type music with contemporary instrumentation. Like the first level had like distortion guitar mixed in with like, you know, strings and timpani drums. It's an interesting mix, I think. Yeah.
I enjoy the music too. I feel it gets a little bit repetitive. I feel that there's not enough variation eventually. Like it feels like the majority of the music is the music you find in episodes 1 feels like they've run through the entire game.
Right.
But it's nice. It certainly suits the aesthetic better than the pretend rock. Whatever. I'm sorry. I am not a music man. I love me music. I don't really know the actual terminology and stuff, all that. But Doom's music. I mean, we're always going to be comparing these two games. Doom and Heretic. They are a thing of comparisons.
Alright, yeah, well.
But Doom's music definitely felt out of place. That's why I like the PlayStation version, which I never played. But the music is fantastic.
Oh yeah, well, we'll get
and the
there
N64
eventually.
Version as well. Yeah, I know. Well, I definitely hope the N64 version, because that's, well, you guys get it.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry about it. Got it covered.
Excellent. But yeah, there's little touches as well that really feel appreciated. The environmental stuff, the barrels are obstacles as well. Yeah. It's a very nicely made world. Do you know if Raven also followed its philosophy? Best levels first? Or do you feel they followed the more coherent style?
I don't actually know much about the development of this game. I couldn't tell you if they did the same, you know, best levels first thing. It's hard to say. I don't know, man.
Got lost looking for secrets there?
I guess so. Or I forgot where that door was. But we're at the end of the level, but before that, we got one last guy to deal with.
These guys. If you thought the imps were trying to be the cacos of this game, you were mistaken. These things are your closest thing to a caco demon.
Oh yeah, by the way, John, Heretic Elf, is trying to kill some wizard named Disparel. Sorcerer? Serpent Rider.
Serpent Rider.
He's the main villain.
3 stars is definitely worth it for these guys. They are nasty.
Yeah, these guys are jerks. But we don't really have much time to talk about them because this is almost the end.
Well, in that case, we'll let them show themselves off later.
Yeah. Now, about that time I died. Well...
Oh no!
That's embarrassing.
That Crusher was mean.
Jeez. I really blew it.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, more to come. No real point in talking about what's left, what we've seen here.
Yep.
John Heretic is after a serpent rider. Tune in for next time to see more.
Yep, the end.